Welcome to the deep dive. We've all had those days, right? A whole day stretches out full of potential, but somehow you end up feeling completely swamped like you're underwater.
Absolutely. And today, we're getting right into why that happens.
We've been looking at some really interesting material about priorities, and it sparked this thought. Maybe the issue isn't really how much is on our plate. Maybe it's more about, how we choose what to tackle first. It's kind of like exploring the silent power of priorities.
Oh, exactly. This isn't about just, cramming more tasks in. Our mission here in this deep dive is really to pull out the key insights from this research on prioritizing
Okay.
and to see how making conscious choices about what comes first can genuinely, fundamentally change your mental clarity.
Okay, so let's talk about this feeling of always being busy. It feels like it's just part of modern life now, doesn't it? Almost expected.
It really does. And one of the things that jumped out from the material is how busyness has almost become this, social currency, a
Yep.
badge of honor.
Right. If you're not busy, something's wrong.
Kind of. But the really crucial point is that just being busy without any real direction, it's incredibly unproductive. One source we looked at had this great analogy. It's like paddling furiously in a circle. Lots of effort, no forward movement.
Oh, that image really hits home.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're answering emails, maybe jumping between meetings, checking things off a list.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you haven't actually gotten closer to what really truly matters. And there's that lingering feeling of, what did I actually do today?
Precisely. And the research we explored really highlights that priorities, they aren't just about managing tasks on a list.
Okay.
They're much deeper. They connect right back to our core values, our bigger goals in life.
So if we don't actively sit down and figure out what's important to us,
Then, the world kind of steps in. External pressures, emails, requests, other people's agendas, they start dictating where our focus goes. We don't choose. It gets chosen for us.
and that sounds like exactly how you lose that sense of control over your own life, your own day.
That's really the core of it. When that happens, the material suggests you can easily slide into feeling like life is just sort of happening to you
Yeah.
instead of being something you're consciously shaping. And that disconnect, that's a huge source of that overwhelmed feeling we started talking about.
This ties into another really key idea from the sources, one that really resonated with me. It's this shift away from just managing time to focusing more on managing our energy. It just feels, more complete somehow.
It really is. Because, look, time is finite, right? 24 hours, that's it.
Right.
But how we direct our mental energy, our emotional energy, that's often the real key to feeling like you're in the driver's seat and actually achieving what matters.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And one of the articles painted this really vivid picture. You wake up, maybe reach for your phone. Yeah, me too sometimes. And instantly, you're hit with this digital wave. Emails are pinging, social media is flashing notifications. That to-do list is just looming there.
Oh, absolutely. All before you've even had a chance to properly wake up or think for yourself.
Exactly. You're immediately pulled into what everyone else needs, what everyone else thinks is urgent, before you've even had a moment to check in with yourself. Your mind's already racing.
So you're starting the day reacting, not choosing.
Precisely. And this constant flood of demands right from the get-go, it basically bypasses our ability to make those conscious choices about what truly matters to us. We're just putting out fires, reacting to whatever shouts the loudest.
So what's the way out? What's the alternative to this reactive state, the sort of weightless mind being tossed around? The material we looked at introduced something called the anchor practice.
Yeah, the anchor practice. It sounds simple, almost too simple maybe, but it can be really powerful. The core idea, as described in one of the philosophies we explored, is this. Before you dive into technology, before the emails and the news, you just take a deliberate pause, even just 60 seconds. Sit in silence. That's it.
Just 1 minute. Wow, okay, that actually feels doable, surprisingly doable.
Yeah.
So what happens in that minute? What are we supposed to be doing or thinking?
Well, the key is to ask yourself one specific question, and it's this. If I could only do one thing today that truly aligns with my sense of peace and purpose, what would it be?
One thing, not 5 things, not the top 3, just one.
Just one. And that focus is crucial. This isn't about making another to-do list in your head. It's about finding that single most important, most resonant intention for your day.
I really like that laser focus. It feels like it immediately helps cut through all the mental clutter, forces you to simplify down to what's really essential.
Exactly that. One of the core arguments in the material is that real clarity often comes not from trying to add more strategies or lists,
Yeah.
but from intentionally removing the noise,
Yeah.
the unnecessary stuff.
Yeah,
And that single intention you identify, it acts like your personal compass for the day.
a compass. Yeah, I like that. Guiding your decisions where you put your energy.
And the benefit described is pretty profound. Even if the day goes sideways later, and let's face it, days often do,
Ah, yeah, they do.
there's this underlying sense of, well, satisfaction, groundedness. You addressed the one thing that genuinely mattered most to you. That's a powerful way to frame your day.
It really does sound powerful. A way to anchor yourself before the storm hits, so to speak.
It is.
Yeah.
But then, life happens. The urgent stuff inevitably pops up, right?
Always.
And the material we looked into doesn't shy away from that. It addresses that common struggle, how urgent tasks can just completely derail our best intentions, our focus on what's important.
Yeah, that constant battle. Productivity versus peace, or maybe urgent versus important.
That's a great way to put it. The tension between the urgent and the important. It's classic.
And the urgent things, they're usually the loudest, aren't they? The emails marked high priority, the phone ringing. They demand attention now.
Absolutely. They scream. While the important things, planning, deep work, relationships, self-care, they tend to whisper. They require conscious effort and focus. And the danger, the material points out, is that if we live in constant reaction mode, just responding to the urgent screams.
We never get around to the important whispers.
Exactly. We never carve out the mental space or the actual time to engage with what holds real long-term significance for our goals, our well-being, our sense of purpose.
So, making that conscious choice, choosing to protect your peace or focus on that important, quiet goal, even when something urgent is banging on the door, that's not being lazy or irresponsible.
Not at all. In fact, one of the perspectives we encountered really reframes this quite beautifully. It suggests that choosing peace, choosing the important over the immediate pressure of the urgent, that's actually a courageous act.
Courageous, okay.
Yeah. It's about recognizing the deep value of your own focused attention and directing it towards what truly moves the needle for you, rather than just letting the day's chaos dictate everything.
And the big takeaway here, it feels like, is that we don't actually need to do everything that comes our way. We don't have to feel guilty about that.
Absolutely not.
It's more about developing that discernment, being able to spot what truly matters for you, for your goals, for your peace.
Yes.
And then being okay with consciously letting the other stuff go. That feels incredibly freeing, actually.
It really is liberating. So as you go
Yeah.
about your day, maybe just take a moment now and then to ask yourself that question again. What is my one thing? And remember, as the material suggests, that true clarity, it often isn't found in the middle of all the rushing and doing.
Right?
It's found in those quiet moments, between thoughts, as one source put it, when you allow yourself that brief intentional pause.
That's a really powerful reminder. Thank you for digging into this with me. It feels like stepping back, being intentional about priorities. It isn't some kind of luxury add-on.
No, it's fundamental.
Yeah, it feels absolutely essential if you want to navigate, well, the sheer complexity of modern life with a bit more clarity and hopefully a real sense of purpose.
Well said. And as you move forward from here, just remember to, breathe gently, try to stay light, and definitely stay kind to your mind.